pull it up to see if we can see if there's any questions.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. Okay. Hello, Body Balance community. My name is Chonko. This is Zoe Crawford.
Good morning.
Yes, we are doctors of physical therapy at Body Balance Physical Therapy off of Loman's Crossing. And we're so excited to be having this discussion with you guys. We're definitely missing our community, and we thought this was the best way to get in contact with everybody. And to also just remind everybody to stay happy and be well. I think a lot of times as physical therapists, we think about just the physical aspects of wellness, but there are also emotional, spiritual, and mental aspects as well that can really comprise wellness that people tend to forget about. So for instance, especially in this time where everyone's unsure about what tomorrow is going to bring, there's a lot of depression and anxious feelings going on, and that can manifest into physical symptoms. So I think, Zoe, you were talking about how one of your patients with a knee issue was having...
Yeah, I mean, right, and not specific, but the idea is that some of these, the emotional and the mental stressors that we are dealing with at this point in time can present in different ways. We know that they can present in a physical way, and we want to make sure that, right, as physical therapists, we are always trying to figure out, is this coming from specifically maybe from the injury, or is it maybe coming from a different place? If somebody's been dealing with a pain for a long time, the brain thinks about it in a different way. It starts protecting the body, things start manifesting in different ways. And so we are always from this space, is it coming from this space, and how can we best treat it? I think both Cassie and I have a very, we have a good perspective on what our treatment philosophy is, and we always try to bring all of these areas of our body into how we treat our patients. And that's part of what we're trying to do today, right? Connecting kind of from this isolated version of what we're doing, but still bringing in how we look and what we would normally be giving our patients and our clients within the clinic. Now we're giving it to you over Facebook.
Yes.
So, what does wellness mean to you, Cassie?
I mean, just as I kind of touched on how there's the physical aspect of wellness, but there's other bodies such as spiritual, emotional, and mental that we can't ignore, and I think sometimes people do ignore. For instance, I'm seeing a client right now through virtual physical therapy who just had shoulder surgery, and I think a lot of people can relate to the feeling of the weight of the world being on their shoulders. And especially in this time right now, I feel it as well. But imagine also having that with shoulder pain. I mean, clearly some of those symptoms are coming from the physical healing of the shoulder, but also those anxious feelings of heaviness or fatigue that if you're not addressing in wellness, just as you asked, that can manifest into your physical body. So wellness for me definitely is not only the physical aspects, but which the physical, when we think of physical, is your strength, your stamina, your skin and your hair health, and even just, your weight. People are really weight conscious, but there's other aspects of wellness that we don't tap into, and just as Zoe was saying, we really like to educate and encourage you guys and just our clients in the clinic to kind of take a step inward and see how you can improve yourself in these other aspects of wellness. Being mindful is definitely something that I struggle with, but something that Zoe kind of, her tip that I like to do as well is whenever you're in line, or even just standing doing the dishes, trying to be aware of where your posture is or where your body is in space. I think that's the kind of the first thing we need to do is be aware of it before we change it.
Yeah.
So if you guys saw my posture workshop earlier this week, or I always talk to my clients, almost everybody, from a foot issue to a shoulder issue, your posture is very important. So when you think about posture, you should think about it really simply as just building blocks. So whenever you're building a building, you want your foundation or your bottom block to be level and square so that everything else can stack up and just rest. Let gravity do the work, set it and forget it so that you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. So I've talked about that in sitting, but now with standing,
I'm sure you guys can see her.
I think,
Yeah,
okay.
perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so as you're standing, your center of gravity, not most people know, but it's in your pelvis, specifically around S3. So S, I say it's because you're staying on the same group right here. So with when you're standing, trying to first of all pay attention. Are you shifted over to one side or the other? Are you carrying a bag? Or is my weight shifted over my right leg? Is that because I have pain on my left side, or is that because I always carry my bag on my right shoulder and my weight is just always shifted here? Now that's okay that it is, but over time that might start to load extra on my right hip, my right side of my spine, my shoulder. But again, just going back to, you first have to be aware of it and notice what your body is feeling and where you are. So going back to, if you're standing in line at HEB, trying to keep your 6 foot distance, trying to pay attention to where your center of gravity is lying, trying to make sure it's equally distributed between your right and left foot. Also, kind of just where your feet are planted. Or is most of your weight in your heels, or is it in your toes? Can you get it into an equal distribution so that you're, again, stacking everything and letting gravity do the work and resting, loading through the least amount of structures? What other ways?
So we kind of talk about posture, right, or balance and posture, with where we are if we maybe hung a plumb line, right? If we hung something from the ceiling, a line all the way. So you can see here that Cassie, that everything is shifted forward backwards. We want everything to go from the center. So ear, shoulder, the outside of the hip, the outside of the knee, and then the outside of the ankle, right? Everything from a gravity standpoint, everything can be very happy and relaxed from the top up and from the bottom, from the top down and from the bottom up. So if we end up in a schlumpy type of position, you can see that everything from here is very long, right? These are some of our most, we want these muscles to be strong, we want them to be able to do their job, and right now they're all stretched out. They can't create good support and stabilization. The neck comes forward, which means these muscles from the backside, they're not very happy. They're stretched out. They're not, everything is just it's just a lot of tension. There's a lot of gravity your body is having to do too much to resist gravity. So then we look at it from the other perspective. So if your butt goes back behind you and we slump forward, it's the same idea, right? We're having to constantly try not to fall forward on our faces. Our low back is doing a lot to try to keep our body upright. So that, again, right, trying to find peace and trying to find happiness within our posture when we're in those two variations of our postures, our body is not able to find peace and relaxation. Whenever we stand up nice and tall, whenever we have good posture, our shoulders are open and our head is over the top of our body, that means that we can kind of find a little bit of peace. The heaviness and some of the tension we can find our way out of that. And we use this, right? So I use this whenever I am maybe standing in line or in some sort of social scenario. I can use this as a little mini meditation, okay? I very easily can stand, my hands can be wherever they need to be, and I find, sorry for the beeping of the Amazon people, but we can find balance between the front and the back, and we reorganize all of our posture and where our energy is coming from, right? If we're standing and a lot of our energy is being lost to our posture, then that means we can't put it back into using it for our mindfulness and using it for some of our mental health and from our emotional health from that standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So
work smarter, not harder. So if you can set everything up and let gravity do the work, then you have energy to do exercise and spend time with your kids and your grandkids and your neighbors from a social distance. So just, again, just starting to be mindful about where everything is stacked up.
And I think a lot, right, I mean, we're physical therapists, and so we look at that from a, what have you had presented into your body that may be making you make these changes, right? So Cassie kind of said, is your weight shifted to the left? Is it shifted to the right? Maybe you've had an injury to one side of your body. Well, that's connecting in with your brain and saying maybe we still need to protect it. Checking in and making sure that we have good equal distribution means we're putting good energy, where our brain is connected to all areas of our body. And that's important because we want to be connected in with as many areas of our body as possible, which also allows us to check in to kind of figure out where maybe some of that energy is being shifted.
So when you do have that energy to rekindle, a way to use it for your physical body is through exercise. I mean, exercise can be a bunch of different things, yard work for sure, going on walks, weightlifting, but I think a lot of times, sometimes people get unsure about how much do we need, what is required. We know that we need our several servings of vegetables and fruit a day, but how much exercise do we need a week, Zoe? So we'll talk about that.
So the guideline, right? The guidelines or the all encompassing authorities are saying that 150 minutes per week, right? And that's at minimum. In order just to maintain good muscle, right? A happy body and a happy mind, we need at least 150 minutes per week. So we break that down from, we can all divide and figure that out. So plus or minus, right, 5 days a week, about 30 minutes a day out of those 5 days. If that means that you want to do more or you want to do less, then it means you just need to incorporate some more time throughout the week. And that doesn't mean that you have to do a full 30 minutes at one time. It means maybe if you're feeling like you can only do 10 minutes 3 times a day, then that's absolutely fine as well, right? But all of it just has to accumulate up to 150 minutes.
However, I do think that, so yes, you can break it up into 3 separate times a day if you need to, but the other, the kicker is that if you want cardiovascular benefits, you will have to do 21 minutes of consecutive exercise. So, and not only just consecutive going for a leisurely stroll, but it has to have some moderate intensity behind it. So you have to have some oomph.
Yeah.
You gotta
put some purpose and some meaning behind how you're moving, whether or not it's a walk, right? Or maybe it means that you're riding the bike. I think kind of using that moderate intensity. Well, what does that mean? It can also mean that if you're doing a exercise activity, that you can still hold a conversation, but you may have to put a little bit of thought behind having that conversation, right? You're not just kind of jibber jabbering.
A little bit of labored breathing. Yeah.
And so that gives you kind of a general guideline because we can't use heart rate and that kind of thing all the time based on, that's a hard thing to try to incorporate. But I think the walk and talk test is usually something that we like to use, and it gives us a good idea. Right? You need to be able to talk. It means it's definitely now if you're trying to multitask and go on a walk and maybe talk to your family or something like that. Yeah. So 150 minutes per week in general, and 21 minutes of consecutive exercise in order to keep your heart happy and healthy.
Yes. And so if you have been, we've been in quarantine for over a month now, so if that means things have started to get some aches and pains and you are limited and you are not able to fulfill this 150 minutes a week requirement, that's where your neighborly doctors of physical therapy come in. That's us. So whether or not that's a knee issue or back pain, ankle pain, sometimes even shoulder issues, or if you're having difficulty with your balance on the sidewalk, that's where we as a resource are here. We are a necessary, what is the word?
An essential business.
We are essential. We're an essential business. So we are open to see clients one-on-one, but we are also doing virtual physical therapy through an online platform, and we both have had success with that. If anyone is interested in participating in virtual physical therapy or in-person physical therapy, we're offering free discovery visits and why you're wanting to team up with either Zoe or I, your Zoe, to get you onto this physical wellness journey. And then also kind of circling back into, going back into energy, what else? There's one more thing that's extremely important for serving your body. Zoe, what is that?
Well, they're both, right? So we have two things. We have both nutrition and we have water. Those two topics definitely. I think sometimes we as physical therapists, we sometimes take the nutrition side out of it, or we try to because we feel like that may be a little bit of an overwhelming, right, concept that we're trying to bring in. But we think that the very basic information, right, foundational, is you need to provide your body with food that gives it energy, right? And some of Cassie's favorite foods we posted, or we are going to post on the Facebook, some of our favorite versions of what these superfoods are. What are yours?
And so when we say superfood, we mean foods that are not only just maybe taste good, but they're serving your body. They're giving extra. They're adding value to what your body can put out. So they have anti-inflammatory properties, especially those with chronic pain or arthritic conditions. It's extremely important to get into your body. And also, a lot of these foods can have mental benefits as well, keeping your brain sharp. So some of those, my favorites, dark chocolate for sure. If anybody knows me, I love my chocolate. But berries, salmon or sardines, other fatty fish, avocados. Zoe, I know, likes broccoli.
Yeah.
Why do you like broccoli?
Broccoli is good, but one, because it's right, it's very nutrient dense in general, but it's also a very good source of protein. So I'm not a huge fan of meat on a regular basis, and Cassie is not either, so we try to add in a lot of vegetables that have a good source of protein in addition to.
Yes.
So I think berries in general are also fantastic. We try to add in turmeric very often because it has fantastic anti-inflammatory. So again, right, the reason why this is important is because if we have aches, we have pains, we're not feeling our best, it means that maybe we need to look at this other platform. We need to look at the fact that what we're feeding our body and what we're giving our body should give us energy, it should make us happy, it should make us feel energized. If we're getting through a meal and we feel like the only thing we want to do is take a nap, then, or if we're feeling like we're kind of achy afterwards, clearly that food is not serving us and making us a happier and a healthier person. Mm-hmm. I think, so again, right, food and all of these things should make us feel better than where we started. And if they're not, then that means that maybe we need to kind of shift and maybe make a little bit of a change from that standpoint.
Yeah. And so all these things that we've been talking about, when we say making a change, when we talked about mindfulness practices, spiritual practices, posture, what else? Nutrition, and exercise. These are a lot of things to make a change. If only adding in or committing to yourself 10 minutes a day about doing some breath work, or saying, okay, I'm going to try to get rid of the Cheetos that you love to eat. Maybe just starting to add in extra broccoli or drink another 5 glasses of water. Just trying to make small changes. It's not all going to happen all at once, but you owe it to yourself, and your body deserves it for you to treat it well. We only have one body, and I think we forget that. So just trying to incorporate these things one step at a time is what's going to help you in the long run.
Yeah.
So Zoe and I plan on doing these little chit chats every Friday at 10:30. We are also, Zoe will be doing a workshop at the library. I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so the library, the Lake Travis Library is they're having their online workshop through Zoom. I will be presenting balance and fall safety, so a little bit more of a guided towards what balance means, the specific areas of balance that are important, and then safety guidelines between your home and being in, kind of out in the community, and some exercises and strategies that you can do from that side. So through the Lake Travis Library, you can find their calendar, and it is Wednesday, April 29th at 1 p.m. We will post something on there to make sure that y'all have the link as well as the information on that. And then Cassie.
Yes, I'll be doing one on knee osteoarthritis and just what the current research supports in terms of treatment, how to manage it, what your risk factors are if you're not sure if you have it. And I believe that's on May 4th, but we will like I said, post all of those details so you guys can join us. As I said at the beginning, we love what we do, and we really want to continue to serve you guys. If that means virtually, then that's fine with us. It's better than nothing.
I'm going to check on the questions. You kind of keep wrapping up.
Okay. Well, some other resources.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Okay. Some other resources that we have enjoyed are some meditation apps. I like to use Calm or Headspace. They do have a yearly membership. I want to say between $60 and $80 that gives you an abundance of resources for teaching about how to meditate if you're a first-time meditator, or just starting to serve your body in that way. YouTube also has some great resources. What about?
I think I have been using, I think it's Breathe, which is a free meditation app on most phone applications, I guess. And then also mindful.org. That is a great community. They have great resources as well as some free meditation videos and that, those types of things. So all of those are good ways for you to connect in through kind of this limited community from the internet side, and also good resources to make sure that you can provide and you can check in and make sure that you have those things available to you.
We are also a resource as well. Yeah. So if you have any questions about what we talked about today, you can leave it in the comments below, or you can also email info@bodybalancelakeWay.com with any questions, or if you have any suggestions or topics that you would like us to discuss. We are definitely open to suggestions. We have a lot of time.
Yeah, for the time being.
So please, we are definitely a resource as well. So we enjoyed our time today. We'll see about the audio, or if that was an issue, we might go back inside. But it was just such a beautiful day today where we had to come outside. We had to sit outside.
Yeah,
outside time is good too. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. So we will see you guys next week. And in the interim, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us.
Yes. Thanks so much. Bye.